Let me expose you gently. There comes a moment in your life when you start changing and everything around you starts acting confused. Your habits look at you like, since when do we drink water? Your boundaries look at you like, we've never been used before. Why now? Your old patterns are in the corner whispering, don't mind them, they'll be back. And your spirit is standing in the doorway like a parent with arms folded saying, try it, I dare you. Becoming is wild because you start doing things that even you don't recognize. You say no and your mouth is shocked. You rest and your guilt is confused. You choose peace and your chaos is offended. You walk away from nonsense and your old self is like, wait, we don't fight anymore? You're not even trying to change. You're just minding your business, drinking water, breathing normally, and suddenly your spirit taps you on the shoulder like, we're evolving. Don't panic. Becoming is the moment your life starts rearranging itself, and you're the last one to be informed. Welcome to Pixel Reflections, the space where we tell the truth gently, drag ourselves lovingly, and grow without asking for permission. I'm your host, Olajumoke, someone who has learned, sometimes the hard way, that becoming isn't loud. It isn't glamorous and it definitely isn't convenient, but it is always honest. And if you're here, it's because something inside you is shifting too. Not loudly, not dramatically, just consistently, like a quiet truth that refuses to leave you alone. Don't worry, you're not malfunctioning, you're becoming. And today we're going to talk about the version of you that's emerging, the one you've been sensing, the one you've been circling, the one you've been avoiding, and the one you're finally ready to meet. Becoming doesn't start with a big moment. It starts with a tiny, disrespectful realization, I don't want to live like this anymore. It doesn't start in a dramatic way. It's not in a meltdown. It's just a quiet, internal, yeah, this isn't me. It's the moment you look at your life and suddenly everything feels slightly tight. Like you're wearing a version of yourself that shrunk in the wash. You start noticing things you used to tolerate. You start hearing yourself more clearly. You start feeling misalignment in your body before your mind catches up. Your tolerance changes. Your appetite changes. Your energy changes. Your patience packs its bags. Your intuition starts clearing its throat like, I've been trying to reach you about your life's extended warranty. Now, let me tell you a story. There wasn't a day in my life where I suddenly found my voice. Please, I've always had it. Some people grow into themselves. I arrived fully formed with opinions, clarity, and a sense of self that didn't ask for permission. But there was a day when I realized something deeper. I wasn't becoming a new version of me. I was becoming a more intentional version of me. It happened on a completely ordinary Tuesday. Nothing dramatic. There wasn't an emotional earthquake. No life-changing revelation. It was just me, sitting in silence, minding my business as usual, thinking about absolutely nothing important. And then out of nowhere, this thought drifted in with the confidence of someone who didn't knock. The thought was, we can go further. Not because anything was wrong. Not because I was lost. Not because life had dragged me through a character development arc I didn't sign up for. But because something in me said, you're good, but you're not done. It wasn't a crisis. It wasn't a turning point. It was a quiet, grounded awareness that there were more depth available, more clarity, more alignment, more resonance, more truth. I realized I wasn't becoming because I needed to fix anything. I was becoming because I was ready for more of myself. More intention, more presence, more depth, more precision, more of the version of me that had been waiting patiently, like whenever you're ready, we can expand. Becoming for me wasn't about finding myself. I've always been here. It was about refining myself. Not because I was lost, but because I was ready. Let's redefine becoming, because it's not a glow up. It's not a rebrand. It's not a personality makeover. Becoming is a truth-based evolution. It's the moment your inner world says, I'm done pretending, and your outer world slowly begins to adjust. Becoming is when your spirit stops negotiating, when your peace stops apologizing, when your boundaries stop whispering, when your identity stops asking for permission. Becoming is not about who you're becoming. It's about who you're no longer willing to be. Let's talk about the comedy of becoming, because evolution has jokes. You start doing things that surprise even you. You say no and your mouth is like, we rehearsed this. You rest and your guilt is like, we've never done this before. Is this legal? You walk away from nonsense and your old self is offended like, wow, so we're better than people now. You stop explaining yourself and your anxiety is pacing like, we usually send 3-page essay. What's happening? You start choosing peace. And your chaos is in the corner packing its things like, so I guess I'm unemployed. Becoming is hilarious because you're literally watching yourself evolve in real time. And half the time you're like, who is this person? And your spirit whispers, you. It's always been you. Let me give you another example, because sometimes the shift is loud and sometimes it's petty. There was a day I agreed to something I didn't actually want to do. Not because I was people pleasing. I don't do that. But because I thought it's fine. It's small. It won't cost me anything. My spirit disagreed immediately. I hadn't even finished saying sure before something in me whispered, why would you do that? And the rest of the day, my entire being was irritated, not at the person, at myself. Every time I thought about it, my spirit rolled his eyes like, we don't do this. We don't volunteer for nonsense. By evening, I cancelled, politely, calmly, and with clarity. And the moment I did, my whole body relaxed like, thank you. We were about to file a complaint. That's the thing about becoming. Your spirit stops tolerating things your mouth casually agrees to. You can't lie to yourself anymore, not even a little bit. Becoming is emotional because it requires grief. Not grief for people, grief for identities. You grieve the version of you who tolerated so much. You grieve the version of you who didn't know better. You grieve the version of you who survived instead of lived. You grieve the version of you who carried everything alone. Becoming asks you to honor these versions, not shame them. They kept you alive, but they can't take you where you're going. Before we go deeper, I want you to take a moment, not to meditate, not to perform, just to notice yourself. Wherever you are right now, let your shoulders drop a little. Unclench your jaw. Take one slow breath, not a dramatic one, just a real one. Becoming isn't just a mental shift. Your body feels it first. And sometimes the simplest way to recognize you're evolving is to pause long enough to feel the difference. Here's the path nobody talks about. Becoming is not a mindset, it's biology. Your nervous system changes first. Your body feels the shift before your mind understands it. You start reacting differently. You start sensing differently. You start noticing things you used to ignore. You start feeling misalignment in your chest, not your thoughts. Becoming is cellular. Your body retires old survival patterns. Your breath deepens. Your shoulders drop. Your heartbeat slows when you tell the truth. Your stomach tightens when you betray yourself. Becoming is not a decision. It's a physiological recalibration. Now, before we close, I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Don't answer politely, spiritually, or performatively. Just answer honestly. Where in your life have you been pretending you're okay because you don't want to deal with what honesty would require? What truth have you been avoiding because you know it will rearrange your entire life? What desire have you been downplaying because you're scared of how powerful it makes you? What boundary have you been negotiating even though your spirit already said, we're done here? If you stopped managing other people's comfort, what truth would you finally allow yourself to live? Now say this with me. I am becoming. I am unfolding. I am evolving. I am returning to myself. I am stepping into the version of me that once felt impossible. I am becoming fully, softly, and honestly. Thank you for walking through season 2 with me. Thank you for listening, reflecting, breathing, shifting, and becoming. If this episode met you where you are, there's a companion PDF waiting for you. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, the identity bundle is there for you too. Season 3 is coming. New depth, new clarity, new identity, new becoming. Until then, move gently, listen inwardly, and honor the self you're becoming.